Finally got him on. Stevo Blessed Morris, the future of bare knuckle boxing. What is going on, my brother?
Oh man, just enjoying the victory, being fat all week. I'm fat as hell.
What do you think you weigh right now?
Shit, probably 75, solid 75.
Jesus. What did you hit 45.0 at the scale?
No, I 46.0. I did the pound. They give you the pound allowance, so I went ahead and took it.
Oh, dude, yeah, I took the pound my last fight too. Fuck that.
Yeah, if you're gonna give it to me, like I know when it's a championship fight, you got to be 45 on the dot, but I know I can do that because my first one I was 45.2. So
yeah. How would you say the cut was for this fight?
My best one I've ever did. Like I didn't even feel it. Like I felt it the last week, but it's usually like the last week I'm usually like a damn zombie. Like I'm like dragging the practice. You've seen me.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it firsthand for sure. What did you do? Is there anything you did differently, or is it just like your body just naturally slid it off better?
I think way more water. Like usually I tried to keep up on the gallon, but this time I made sure a gallon and sometimes even a gallon and a half, some 2 gallons, but that's what kept it off. And
foods too, or
what was that?
Any specific foods, or you kind of just did your normal thing and just water loaded?
A whole bunch of mainly salmon and chicken, like and tuna when it wasn't as close just because of the salt, but
yeah,
salmon and chicken.
Dude, I love, especially towards like the end of my cut, I love salmon because like it's so light, but it fills you up so well.
Yeah, and it got that like at least like 30 grams of the protein. So
yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah, that's
another thing. I added a bunch of I got a protein mix that was like damn near 0 salt and like 28 grams of protein, and I was drinking like 2 of those a day.
Yeah, that's fire. Did you when all right, so when I first met you was about almost 2 years ago, I'd say, like probably a year and a half, and you were just eating whatever the fuck you were hungry at the time. Like you were just feasting. You think you're a little more like strict? I mean, at least in camp now, you think like you started focusing on your diet a little bit better?
Oh, very. I figured out that's like number one. That's more important than the training, because when I was eating, like you just said, like just anything and everything, I felt you could feel it in your sweat. Like when you sweat, you feel sloppy. Like you could feel the grease, the sugar. But when you're eating clean vegetables, fruit, the chicken and fish, like you feel incredible. You feel like I feel like a superhero in fight camp.
Yeah, that's good. Do you think it helps your cardio as well? Like, I mean, I at least know there's like, all right, so obviously there's exceptions in people like Miles. Like there's guys that eat like shit and look great. Like that's just life. Like that's just an exception. But like I know for myself, when I eat right, even if it's like placebo and it's just in my head, I feel like I can go so much harder. Like I just feel better.
I completely agree with that because it does affect it. So some people are just naturally born with it. Bless them. I wish I was one of them.
We're not one of them.
No, I actually have terrible cardio if I don't keep up on it.
Yeah. How was your cardio going into this last one? I mean, you looked phenomenal. The guy, so quick background, Stevo right now is 2-0 bare knuckle. He's probably going to be the number 1 contender in the 145-pound class after this last win. He went to Wichita, Kansas, and fought a man from Wichita, Kansas, and beat his ass and finished him in the 4th round. And so when I was watching the fight, my biggest concern was I knew this guy was going to come out hot. He's in front of his hometown. They booed the shit out of you. Like you knew he was coming out hot, and he did. And he gassed out, and you didn't. You kept your cool, and like you kept it calm. Was that something you were preparing for? Like, were you like, all right, he's going to come out hot round 1?
Yeah, I told everybody leading up to this fight, another background on my opponent, just to give people more background. This guy has had 9 professional MMA fights. He 3 or 4 of them, I can't remember, were actually in Bellator.
Okay.
So, and in his last, I think 4 fights or something, it was his last 4 or 5. He got 2 first-round knockouts.
Damn.
So this guy was not no pushover or a bum by any means, because people were kind of judging him by the way he looks, and that motherfucker, that was probably one of the toughest people I've ever came in face to face with. But back to your question, I did prepare for that because I told all my coaches, I seen all of his fights. He comes off that scratch hot.
Yeah, very.
I knew he was going to. I was trying to time to where when he rushed me, I could land it straight. But he came in so hot that And not only did he come in hot, those punches landed. Like when he came in on me, he landed at least like 4 or 5 straight to the face. Like it was knocking. That's why I backed up. It was knocking me back.
Yeah.
And people were also asking me, why did I look kind of tired in the first? Like, why was I going so slow? It's and the reason behind that was I wasn't tired at all that entire fight. Like not one time. The only time I slowed down is one of his flurries. He came at me. He caught me right under the eye, which I think caused that cut.
Yeah.
And it basically took away 95% of my vision. Like he was literally within arm's reach of me, but I was seeing like 3 or 4 of them. So I didn't know where he was at. And
that
then
was the first round?
Yeah, that was the first round. Because if you notice in the first round too, if you watch the fight, he caught me in the jaw real heavy while I was blind, and he just kept tagging me. And I put my hands down and I basically walked at him, just looking at him. If he would have hit me, I probably would have went on my ass because I couldn't see nothing. I was trying to use that as an intimidation factor because I just put my hands down and just walked at him like, you're not phasing me.
Yeah.
And it worked because he backed up as soon as I did that. In that 5-10 seconds he gave me to catch my breath and regain my focus, that's when I knew the fight was over.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of crazy. Because if you think about it, like when you train for your fights, like nothing's going to prepare you for a situation where like you're seeing like 4 of them at the same time. Like usually you get hit that hard, they like stop practice, like you sit down for a little while, regain your composure. But like in your situation, you're going off instinct. Like you're literally reading your opponent as you see him, and you're able to implement these things. Is that something you like gained over time, or like do you feel like you've always had that fight ability?
It's more of a personal thing, because some people, they're a badass in the gym. I sparred with some badasses, but then you see them get in the ring or the cage, either or, and they get tagged one time in the face and they turn into like a deer in the headlights because they're not used to getting tagged like that. And then, and then for me personally, what keeps me going is I look at fighting as if this was back in the day, we would be like modern day gladiators. Because we're in front of a crowd of people and we're fighting a bloody fight. So I use that as, if we was in here to fight till the death and nobody was to separate us, are you going to let being a little rocked and you can't see your person, are you going to let that stop you? Or are you going to fight through that like a gladiator? And that's how I look at it in that situation.
Dude, especially with the fucking bare knuckle, dude. That's probably the closest thing to gladiator you could get to. Yeah,
because I'm telling you, if you guys that I used to think that it wouldn't be much of a difference between a bare knuckle and an MMA glove. It is 100 times different because you hear the smack of every punch. It's literally bone on bone, and because I could feel some of the punches that I was landing, I could feel like the vibration all the way up to my elbow.
Damn.
And that's just because it's just simply bone on bone, and it's hard to prepare for.
Yeah, and I remember. So I first of all, much respect to you. You're a fucking savage. I would never do bare knuckle boxing. Just I wouldn't.
But I don't. When people ask me about it, I don't recommend it. Like it's not. It's not because it's gonna. If you're not calculated in there, you're gonna have a very, very short career.
Yeah, 100%.
You're gonna be tore up. You're gonna be scarred up. You're gonna take a lot of damage, and it's gonna end your career early. So if people ask me if they should join bare knuckle, I recommend do it at the end of your career. You got a name, get you some paychecks, and then head out.
Yeah, for sure. But the one thing I was getting at is going to a bare knuckle fight is one of the most fun things to watch. Yeah, you got to be prepared for some blood and gore. But dude, I remember when we went. So me and Stevo's teammate Abby was the first guy on our team that was really in the bare knuckle. And when he fought in at the Hard Rock in Tampa, we all went to support him and stuff. And I remember, dude, I was like maybe 10 rows up. Like I'm like close, but I'm not like on the ring. And you could hear every fucking punch. You hear every single one. It's like a baseball hitting a bat. Or like literally, it's like bop, 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 bop. Like you hear every single fucking shot.
Yeah, it's that skin on skin, bone on bone, and on TV you can't really. Some shots you can hear, but yeah, like you said, no matter where you're sitting in person at a BK, you're gonna hear the smacks, you're gonna see the blood, if you got a weak stomach, it's not something to go to.
Yeah, no. Yeah, my mom's always like, "Can you text me and let me know how Stevo does?" I can't watch him. I can't.
Yeah, because my opponent's face, I've never seen, like when we're looking across from each other in that fourth round, his eye was split so bad that I swear you could start to see a bone, and the cut was like squirting blood. It was like squirting and dripping. It was like it looked like a zombie. I'm like, this man won't stop.
Yeah, dude, no. But what to piggyback on what you were saying in the beginning, which you made a good point. Like he doesn't look intimidating. He looks like not that good. But dude, you were throwing some fucking nukes at him, and he wasn't dropping. Like that dude was a tough motherfucker.
I told him backstage because after your fight, you got to go back there with your opponent and get stitched up. And I told him like he's one of the bravest and most savage people I've ever hit. Because those punches, you've sparred with me. Like I put people down and they don't want to continue. And that man, especially that right hand, that first time he went down, I was honestly shocked he got up, because that's probably one of the hardest punches I've landed ever in a fight.
Yeah, dude, he was a fucking savage. What was his eye?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you land fights harder in bare knuckle, or do you feel like you've landed better shots with gloves on?
I feel like with my boxing and my accuracy, I'm pretty solid with or without the gloves on. It's just you got a lot more to worry about with the gloves on. So that's when you put the gloves on, you got to worry about your takedowns, kicks, knees, elbows. It's just way more to worry about.
You think you throw when you're in bare knuckle, you think you throw harder, or you think you throw not as hard because you're concerned to break your fucking hand?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I honestly, that goes through my head. As long as they're not, if they're one of those people like my opponent just was, that come in with their head down.
Yeah, you'll break that shit right on top of their head.
Yeah, it's really hard. Like that's why I was trying to time the uppercut, because I know in my head, if I'm sitting here slugging at him and he puts his head down one time, whether he meant to or not, and you catch the top of that head, your hand's done for the rest of the fight. So I feel like I don't really worry. I know when to throw the hard strikes. I got it pretty down.
Yeah, I just feel like, dude, because like you want to knock him the fuck out and you want to throw it, but like you have to be smart. And like I obviously, like your experience comes into factor for that. But that's another thing I wanted to transition to. So you've done boxing. You started off as a boxer, transitioned to MMA. Now you're in bare knuckle. What like elaborate a little on like the different style of boxing itself with the 16-ounce glove, 4-ounce glove, and the no glove, because it's definitely different. They're different, completely different styles of boxing.
Oh yeah. Well, when you compete in boxing, I believe you wear a 12-ounce, but still, that's still a big glove. But there's a huge difference, because when I got a boxing glove on, I'm like almost just careless as hell. Like I'm really reckless because I got big shields, and these shields, all I got to do is put them in a certain spot, and I know my head movement. It's like almost impossible to catch me with the boxing gloves. Yeah. But then with the MMA gloves, you're a little more cautious, because they're not big shields. There's punches are gonna slip through that aren't gonna slip through in boxing. And then with bare knuckle, I've realized this fight showed me that you don't need to throw hard because those jabs I was landing, they were snapping his head back, and I could feel like the knuckles connecting on the certain parts of the face. And it was like, you don't even have to throw with all your power. You just got to throw precise. My favorite's definitely without the gloves by far, but you just got to adjust to the different styles, because it's really different, personally, because you sparred with boxing and MMA gloves.
Especially, I think the biggest difference is one, obviously accuracy. Like you can get away with sloppy accuracy if you get in the general area with boxing gloves on versus MMA. But I think the defense is where I feel like it's the biggest difference, because like when I'm wearing boxing gloves, I can slide that shit. You can parry. Like when you're wearing an MMA glove, if you don't move it, it's gonna stick you. Like there's no sliding that shit. It's sticking.
It's gonna slip in those spots that the boxing glove would usually be. Mm-hmm. And you ain't got to worry about really breaking your hand with the boxing glove, because you're padded all the way around.
Now, did your hands get fucked up at all, or how they feeling?
Yeah, but the first one, no, because it wasn't really much action. But this last fight, it was like, and after, I want to say it was the third round, I believe it was at the end of the third. People were asking me because they saw me look at my hand on camera, and I couldn't feel it. Like, it felt like I hit him so many times with my right hand that every time I would land another one after the fact that I heard it, it felt like it was crumbling. Like, each time it landed, it felt like it was just shattering. Like, I could feel my bones. That's what it felt like. I could feel my bones just like getting weaker and weaker. And I told my coach, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to use my right hand this next round. And I loved his responses. Like, his response was just like, "You got a left one, don't you?" And I was like, "Yep." And that's when I jabbed a lot in the fourth round.
Yeah, I also noticed that because I was watching it with my roommates. I was like, "Fuck, I think he broke his hand." Because you go to your corner and you go like this, and you look at your coach, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good."
Yeah, exactly. It felt terrible at the time, and then after the fight, it swelled up so bad it was hard to cut the tape off.
Damn.
It's pretty much like a warrior attitude. Do you think your coaches help instill that in you, or do you feel like that's always come from within?
What, fighting through the pain, or?
Yeah, I'd say not only fighting through the pain, but just like your mental, like how do you push through that? Like, what is in your mind keeping you like in that fight?
Back to the gladiator mindset again. Like, if I was in MMA and if I lost a limb, then I have 3 other limbs that I need to apply. So just like bare knuckle, if I lose my right hand, then my left hand needs to be just as on point. So it shouldn't mess up your fighting. You should be able to knock somebody out with either hand.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
And then you can look at it too, like probably the most badass example of that is Uriah Faber versus Mike Brown back in the day, where he broke both of his hands in the 3rd round, and the 4th and 5th round he's had to throw elbows because he had no fucking hands.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're a true warrior and you're in that mindset, like, yes, you know it hurts, but you also know if you give up, your opponent's gonna whoop your ass.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you also know too, like, it hurts me, but it's fucking hurting him too when I throw it.
Yeah. Because that's another thing that got me through the fight. Because at one point I was like, fuck, my eye hurts. Like it was killing me. I couldn't see. And as I was getting off the stool, I was like, if I feel this bad, he has to feel 10 times worse than me.
For sure. For sure.
So, Stevo, just some background. You fight out of Florida, but you're not originally from Florida, are you?
No, I lived here for 2 years now. I lived 1 year over in St. Pete, and then I lived the last year here in Tampa. I'm originally from Danville, Illinois.
So let's elaborate on that. What brought you down from Danville? So from what I know, as you know, being boys with you and training with you, you originally started off boxing. Well, you started off street fighting, then you went into boxing, and then you came down here to focus on MMA. How did all that, like, what brought you down here? What made you transition into MMA from boxing, like everything?
So up there, I was training boxing from the age of like 12 to I was on and off boxing for over 10 years. And then I just started seeing MMA, like the popularity of it and the fact that you could pick somebody up, slam them, and stand up and then keep boxing them. I was like, that's awesome. I want to be able to pick somebody up, slam them, and then just tell them to keep on fighting. And then, so I was like half-ass training. I was like half-ass training and not really taking it serious, just kept losing. I lost 7 fights in a row. And most people quit after 1 or 2 losses. So here, I'm about to just leave this here. So after the 1 or 2 losses, after the seventh loss, I was like, man, this is what I want for the rest of my life. But nobody's gonna pay to see a guy that they know is gonna lose the fight. Maybe the fight's exciting because I got over half my fights were fight of the nights or whatever. I got a performance bonus for it, but nobody's going to want to be a fan of a guy that's constantly losing.
Yeah.
So I told myself that I need to do something about this. And I've been back and forth from Florida my whole life because my dad lived in St. Pete and my mom lived in Illinois. So I was always back and forth. And then I seen how much the training was so much better here and what they do, and they just make you way better. And I knew the American Top Team name from Coconut Creek. So when I was looking gyms up in Tampa, I saw that they had an American Top Team, and that just drew my attention just for the name.
Yeah. Because I remember you came down and visited first, right? And you trained with us for a little, and then
I came down like 6 months before I moved, just to train a week with you guys over at ATT.
Yeah.
And then I really liked it. So I ended up sticking with it and moving down here.
Now, when you came, so I remember you telling me when you first started fighting, you were like not even like fighting in practice. Like you were just going to fights. Like you were barely showing up. Like you were just partying, like being a dumbass. When did that transition click? Because like I can easily say right now you're one of the hardest guys in the you don't miss practice. You are obsessed with the grind. Like when did that switch happen? Because normally that doesn't. When a guy's like how you were in the beginning, they normally don't just flip that switch and become a workhorse.
Yeah. So what happened was a huge part of that was my brother passing. He passed. I started looking at my kids. I have 4 kids, and I was like, my kids are gonna grow up looking at me like, are they gonna look at me like they're proud that I'm their dad, or are they gonna look at me like I'm just a piece of shit? And that's really what got me to snap out of it. And I was like, I got to make this serious. So, and then once you start seeing yourself getting better and better, you kind of like get addicted to it. Mm-hmm. So then I started falling more in love with it, and my body started feeling better. I started seeing the results in the mirror. I felt better. And then I go out there and I win a fight, my very first fight in Florida, during the whole COVID situation.
Yeah, the rise, right?
Yeah, the rise. So the COVID situation. So I went over. We basically fought at his gym. We went to their gym where they train at, and got in their cage, and I won that fight. And once I had that feeling, I was like, I forgot what it was like. I forgot what it was like to win. Mm-hmm. And then once I got that, just a taste of it, I was like, I got to keep it going. This is what's going to make me make money. Yeah. This is what the people want to see.
It's kind of like a drug in that aspect. Sorry.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like I'm really like right now, I love taking time off, like being fat for a week, but it's hard. My body's like, it feels weird that I'm not in the gym.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I can't wait to get back in there Monday. That's I'm getting back.
So when you go back Monday, what are your like current goals right now that you're looking forward to? And do you have any like future goals like 5-10 years down the road that you like want to be?
Yeah. So the goals right now is to lose all this extra weight I'm gaining right now and sit at a comfortable weight to where if they want to call me up, if they want to give me a scheduled fight like a month or 2 out, that's good. But also I want to be ready if they got like a big name and somebody gets injured, because that seems to be happening a lot in bare knuckle. And I want to be able to jump in there if they call me and be like, hey, can you make it here next week? I want to be like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Because I feel like out of the top ranked 5 people they put in bare knuckle, I don't see any of them being any type of concern, honestly. And that's not even speaking out of cockiness or arrogant. I'm just very confident in my skill set, and I don't see any of them being able to touch me.
Is there anyone in particular you're eyeballing, or you're just ready for them?
I'm ready for all of them. It don't matter. But the only one I see that would be a huge fight, I feel like it'd be very exciting, I'm up for the challenge, is that guy they put at number 1, that Howard Davis. Because he's 6'3" at 145. That's unheard of. Yeah. So I feel like that'd be a challenge that I'm ready to show people that I don't care. You could be 6'5", 5'4". I'm ready to knock you down.
How's his resume? He's number 1. He's gotta be pretty fucking good.
Yeah, he all I know about the guy, I don't know too much about the guy. I know he trains over in Miami at Slaughterhouse.
Okay, it's a good gym.
And yeah, and he had a boxing career before bare knuckle, and he did pretty well there. So
does he have a resume in bare knuckle so far, or he hasn't fought yet?
Yeah, he fought the number 2 guy that sorry. No, you're good. He fought the number 2 guy. I can't think of his name right now, but they fought and he beat him. But if you look up the fight, it's it was boring. Like he couldn't put him out. If I fight that number 2 guy, I'm putting him out and by the 3rd round.
Yeah. So you just said he came from a boxing background. When it comes to bare knuckle, do you think MMA fighters or boxers transition well? Because it's not really like, it's not boxing. It's like MMA boxing in a way. You know, like there's a clinch, there's no gloves. Like, from your personal experience, how do you think the transition works better for boxers or MMA fighters?
MMA guys by far, because the boxers aren't used to that clinch, and once you clinch them boxers, they don't, like if you go to a boxing gym, they don't teach you clinching because it's not a boxing that you can't clinch in boxing.
Yeah, it's like pussy shit boxing.
Yeah, the only time you clinch in boxing is if you're trying to create space or you need a break or something.
Yeah.
But because if you watch my style, I try to blend wrestling with boxing in the bare knuckle ring. If you watch my feet and like when the way I grab people and I push them against the ropes and I start digging my forehead into their chin.
Yeah.
And then as I'm punching you at the same time, you gotta try to push me off as I'm pushing you and I'm pushing into you at the same time. So it's like, it's basically like drains the shit out of people who aren't used to that. And if you're training at a boxing gym and all you're doing is boxing, when you run into somebody like that, you're going to be like, holy shit, what do I do?
Yeah, for sure. Your pummeling in your last one looked beautiful. Like you dominated the clinch in both fights, honestly, but I just don't think your first guy was the same caliber as your second guy, you know?
No, not at all.
Our wrestling coach, Mahmoud, one of the best MMA wrestling coaches around, you've been working with him, I'm assuming, a lot on all that.
Oh yeah. That whole fight camp, we work all types of clinch scenarios, different ways that we could try to move their body. And we work a lot of clinch in the fight camps because we know it's going to be applied, and I'm going to use it every fight. If I'm just going to come out and not clinch them and they think they're not going to get clinched, good luck trying to stop it, because I'm at every fight.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. It's like that last one, they pulled up the stats, I think halfway through the fight, and I landed like over 85 strikes in the clinch.
Yeah, you had like a 70% landed in the clinch or something like that.
Yeah, it was a crazy number. And then that's why I was like, yeah, that's why my hand hurt.
Yeah. You punched the skull 75 times.
For real.
Yeah. That's good. So all right, so this is another question I want to ask. Now that you're kind of like, you are a professional boxer now, you're a professional bare knuckle, and you've been primarily focusing on your boxing, have you still been working on MMA? Like, have you still been kickboxing a little bit and grappling and wrestling and stuff?
Oh yeah, all the way up till 2 weeks, all the way up till 2 weeks out from this fight, I'm still doing jiu-jitsu. I'm still wrestling. I'm in the Muay Thai gyms doing Muay Thai. Like I'm going to do everything. The only reason I don't do it the last 2 weeks is I don't want to tweak a knee or get caught in just anything that's not boxing related to injure myself. Because I would feel shitty. I would feel shitty that I hurt myself doing jiu-jitsu when I had a bare knuckle fight 2 weeks away.
The risk reward there is just not worth it.
Exactly.
So you had about 1.5 years boxing. How was that transition how did that transition to the ground game? Like, were you comfortable transitioning into like more ground and clinch stuff? Did you feel like it was a challenge at first? Like, how was that transition from boxing to MMA?
Incredibly hard. Like, because for one, boxers stand real heavy on their lead leg. So when a Muay Thai guy sees that, they're going to destroy that leg first off, and you're not going to be able to walk halfway through the round. But then same thing with wrestlers or jiu-jitsu guys. Once they realize how fluent you're moving your head and your hands, then they're going to get you straight to the ground. And when you've never been to the ground with an experienced high-level person, they basically make you just feel like you're being tossed around like a rag doll, doing whatever they want to you. And then you start to learn it. Just like I absorb things like boxing, so you get better. As long as you're working with experienced people, you're gonna learn. If you're going with people you're just beating up on all the time, you're not gonna your level is gonna stay the same. You're never gonna elevate.
100%. That's one thing I want to piggyback off of is I hate when like people like tell me like, oh, you haven't lost yet. Like your first loss is gonna suck. It's gonna humble you. Like blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, I haven't lost in the cage yet. I get my ass beat in practice every fucking day.
Exactly.
I get destroyed in practice. And I want, even if I become a UFC world champion, I never want to be the best in the room. I always want someone to chase. I always want someone better than me at jiu-jitsu. I want someone better than me at wrestling. I want someone better than me at striking. Like, and there's this mindset of like, especially fans, and I feel like younger fighters, and you're more of a veteran in the fight game, where it's like you look at these guys like Conor McGregor and like Khabib and like Mike Tyson, and you're like, oh, they go to the gym and they dog everyone. Dude, they lose too. Every guy in the world gets their ass beat in practice. That's just how it is.
And those guys, like the guys you just named, they might not say or show that they're getting their ass whooped in practice. That's because they're just not putting it on camera.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, exactly.
I can tell you right now, there's days I get my ass whooped in practice.
Yeah.
Like, I go home with no, them rides. You ride home from the gym with no music on, just thinking about life. Just be sitting there driving home.
You have no music on, the drive feels 30 minutes longer, and you're like, bro, fuck this shit.
Just telling yourself, man, can I even fight? Do I suck?
Yeah, no, that's very relatable. Yeah.
That's a way. But also you're also gonna have them days that you go in there and you're just not tired, you're running through everybody and you feel great. You're gonna have ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's just part of being a fighter. Now, those guys that claim that they're not getting beat up, or they're not the guys that claim that, they're probably at a stuck level, and when they get put against a high level guy, it's gonna show.
Yeah, they plateau pretty hard. But they plateau pretty hard. Like they stay at the same level. They're not growing at all.
Exactly. Like one person, for a good example, that I'm watching very closely, and I just want to fight him one day just to say I did it, is Sean O'Malley.
I fucking knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, he's out there just destroying guys, like making those guys look like amateurs. But at the same time, he hasn't fought somebody that's in the top 15.
Yeah.
If he can do that to the guys that are in the top 15, then by all means, that's a savage ass dude.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude, you see it a lot, dude. Like guys are like uncomfortable with losing, and like, dude, I don't like when I get my ass beat in the room. I don't think I lost. I just think I'm getting better, and like it's like, dude, I can even like the other day, for example, I got out of practice. I got ragdolled in jiu-jitsu. Like I was in practice with some 3-time world champ black belt named Thiago, like just fucking ragdolled me. And I'm on the phone with my mom. She's like, how was practice? I was like, I got the shit beat out of me. She's like, that's good. You're going to get better. She wasn't like, oh, you suck. She's like, no, that's good. You need to get your ass beat.
Yeah, exactly. But exactly. Yeah, everybody needs that, because it humbles you, and it shows that there's always gonna be flaws in your game. I don't care who you are. Like even Floyd Mayweather, he has flaws in his game. Except he was just smart fight.
Yeah,
he just picked his fights very, very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's another beautiful thing about the sport is I feel like I don't want to say for sure, but I feel like in other sports you can like almost reach perfection, and in MMA you can constantly grow. Like there's always room for improvement.
It's just like the evolution of the game. Like if you take it back to like UFC, when they were fighting with no gloves, no weight classes, if you look at the skill level of those guys compared to the skill level of the guys now, it's just insanely different.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different level of competition.
Yeah, and then like right now, like if you look at the evolution of bare knuckle, like 5-10 years from now, this sport is going to look nothing like it looks now.
Yeah.
Like I remember one of the commentators even said during my fight, when I landed that final uppercut, when I used the frame to post it on his shoulder and set up the uppercut with just one punch, they said that that's like the evolution of what bare knuckle is going to look like in the future. Because right now you got a bunch of guys out there just brawling and throwing shit, just hoping to land.
Yeah.
And then you got people like me that are actually figuring the sport out and realizing you don't have to do all that. Yeah, just like they are figured out in UFC that you have to do all areas. You can't just be good at one area.
Yeah, and I think another thing too that's going to start helping bare knuckle is that like I would say probably until the last like 3 years, no one really trained for bare knuckle. They were just like MMA fighters who'd go in there. Or they were training boxing and go in there. Now you're starting to see guys that are like specifically training and narrowing their route for bare knuckle itself. Like they're like focused and dialed in on actual bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, because like you just said, oh shit. Oh, like you just said, nobody was preparing themselves for bare knuckle fights. They were just coming from the boxing world or the MMA world, and they're like, it's gonna be the same thing, just taking the gloves off. And then they're getting in there and they're like, this ain't shit the same.
Yeah, no way.
I remember my very first bare knuckle fight in Tampa. I came out and I threw the jab. You don't realize the extra 3 to 4 inches that the gloves give you when you have them on with your reach. Because when I threw my first couple of jabs bare knuckle, I felt like he was still a mile away. And I was like, what the hell? My range was all off.
Yeah. And then you had to make it ugly.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes, though. Yeah, and that's another thing, dude. It's like people always like, I hate when guys, like, especially like you in your first fight, it wasn't the prettiest win, but you got the job done. Like, people don't understand, like it doesn't matter. You're not going to have you're not going to have a Conor McGregor hand behind the back performance every time. But at the end of the day, you got to get the fucking hand raised. That's all that matters. That's it.
Yeah. Because actually that you bring that up, my very first words out of my mouth when I won my bare knuckle fight is when my coaches came up to me. I was like, I'm so disappointed. That was shitty. Mm-hmm. I was like, they're not going to want to bring me back because that didn't look like nothing like something I'm used to, like because you know we've trained together.
Yeah.
I was looking like I thought I was going to get like a knockout. He was going to be going to the hospital and this and that. So yeah,
you got to get that hand raised though.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's all that matters. That's why when I tell these people, I used to look at wrestlers. All right, I'm going to say this is wrestlers. As long as you're doing your takedowns and you're doing like ground and pound, and you're going for submissions, all to it. Keep doing that. But the wrestlers that are out there just laying on people, waiting for points, stop that shit.
Yeah, don't. No, yeah, and dude, as a wrestler, I completely fucking agree. Like if I'm gonna take you down, I'm going for a finish. I'm not trying to point fight you. But then you got guys like Elijah Main Sterling who are just hugging on and counting, looking at the clock, trying to win the fight. I don't think that's you're not winning. You're just holding.
Yeah, but you just trained 8 weeks to hold me down for. That's all you did.
Yeah,
hold
literally.
Me down for 9 minutes.
Yeah. But then you got guys like Khabib that are taking you down and breaking your face.
Exactly. Those are the people. I say that because a lot of these wrestlers come into the MMA and they're like, I want to knock somebody out. I want to fuck somebody up on the feet. I want to do this. And shit, who think boring? If you're a wrestler, take them down, punch their face in, and make sure your hand is raised.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you try to be something you're not, your hand's not going to get raised. And then you're going to be like, oh, I should have did this, should have did that. When you should have did what you were good at.
100%. I agree.
Yeah, we kind of see that in like professional boxing. Like some of the boxers like are just doing to get their hand raised. Like it's a point-based sport now. Like in MMA, like it's still a war. Like you cannot go in there thinking, oh, I'm going to try to win like the first and second round and get out of this. Like you got to go in there and kill the guy across from you, or you're not going to get your hand raised. Like you can't just run. You can't run from it or like try to work around it. Like at the end of the day, you're going to get hurt in sport.
Exactly. And then, like you said, you can't think that you're going to go out there and finish it in the first 2 rounds. That's one of my thoughts I had going into this fight in Kansas. I was like, you're professional. You got to, like, you want to end it quick. You want it to be over quick. But at the same time, you got to realize you got 5 rounds to go. Mm-hmm. So you need to pace it, but be a killer at the same time.
Yeah. And like, I feel like a great analogy that I tell people a lot, like when they're asking me like, how do you think your fight's going to go? How do you think your fight's going to go? I'm like, I'm going to take what's there. It's like baseball. I'm not going to swing a home run every time. I'm going to take what's there. Now, if there's a good ball and I end up hitting a home run, there's a good opening, I end up getting the knockout, that's awesome. But I'm not going to force it. Because when you force it, you start overextending, you start opening up. Like, you can't force a knockout. You want it, of fucking course you want it. But if you start forcing it and you start fighting only for the knockout, you're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. And you're going to gas out.
And if you prepare, I tell people to not even go in with a game plan, just go in there prepared because, like you said, if you go in there with the game, then your whole mind's like, oh shit, I wasn't ready for that. So do now. But if you're just prepared in all areas, then you're prepared for the entire fight.
Now, what do you think is, speaking of preparation, what is something that you did in this camp versus your first camp for BKFC that you felt made you more prepared, or at least gave you more confident going into it?
I would say way more running. Like I ran a lot for my last one, but I really increased it a lot. But other than that, I think for my next one, I know I need to maybe condition the hands more.
So in Bare Knuckle Fight Club, how many minutes are in each round? How many rounds are they compared to MMA?
Pro MMA is 3 5-minute rounds. Bare Knuckle is 5 2-minute rounds.
Would you say
and you get a minute break in between each?
Which do you feel was like harder for your cardio? Do you feel the boxing was harder or the MMA was?
You would think. I try to tell people all the time about this. You would think that 2 minutes is a lot easier than that 5 minutes. But if you watch a bare knuckle fight, it's literally 2 minutes nonstop action. Like that's a solid 2 minutes of go, 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 go. And in MMA, you get 5 minutes. It's a whole lot more feeling the person out. Once you get to grappling, you know where you can rest at. Like it's a lot more resting. But bare knuckle is just go, go, go. And if you guys even try to stand there, the referee's right there, like, come on, fight, let's do this, come on.
I feel like it's a different type of cardio too. Like,
yeah,
when you're just throwing 100 punches, your shoulders are gassing out. But when you're grappling, it's like your back's killing you, your legs killing you. I feel like it's just different. And like what you said that I really like that you just said is the pace. What you don't, in 2 minutes, you have no time to feel out. It's just war. Like you have no time to figure out. You have to fight.
Yeah.
Versus 5 minutes, I can take a minute off, feel your pace, get your rhythm. I can lose a minute of the 5 to figure you out and then dog you. You don't have time to feel out in 2 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. Like, there is no feel out in bare knuckle. You just straight, you've seen how he. If you watch my last fight, you see they just come at you. They don't even think about it.
And that's what I remember when I went into my first fight, because we usually train 5-minute rounds. And I remember Carlos, one of our teammates, Carlos, he's a professional MMA fighter. He was like, when you go into the cage, you need to attack. He's like, 3 minutes is short. He's like, very short. 3 minutes is short.
It really is.
You need to attack. And I remember being like, damn. And then we did like 5-minute goes, and then we did 3-minute goes. And I remember the 3-minute goes were like that. And I was like, dude, I have no time to wait in an amateur fight. I have to get after it.
Exactly, especially if you're a grappler in the amateur MMA world, because that 3 minutes is literally, like you just said, it's gone. It sounds like a while, but once you get, it's like right when you get to the position you've finally been working for. In a pro match, you would have had 2 more minutes to go ahead and finish it off. But in amateur, you got that 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's different. Sorry, Zach.
Because it was so short, did you feel like in your amateur fights you had to avoid going to the ground because you were just trying to finish it faster on the feet, or did you? I always tried to think every time before, because a lot of that MMA career, when I speak on that, I don't consider myself a full-time fighter until 2 years ago when I moved here. I've been fighting MMA for 6-7 years altogether, but I don't consider myself a full MMA fighter until the last 2 years. So the years before Florida, then I was just had it stuck in my mind that I'm gonna go out here and knock this guy out. There's no way he's gonna be able to take me down. I'm not gonna let it, this and that. I would try to just talk myself up. But then every single time I'd go out there and we'd be on the ground in the first 30 seconds. And then I would tell myself each time, I'd be like, all right, next fight ain't gonna go like that. They're really gonna stand with me. And then bam, 30 seconds back on the ground.
Yeah, there's like a big, like you said, especially the younger guys of like, oh, I don't need to train that. I just know it won't happen. Like I don't need to worry about that. It just won't happen. And then you realize like, it's not how that works. Like you have to be training every fucking scenario. Like it's not
exactly.
You're not gonna be able to avoid anything.
Like I remember when I very first met you at my very first wrestling class, and you saw how trash my wrestling
came a long way.
Rad. I didn't even know how to shoot. I thought sliding on your knees and grabbing their legs was a double. Like I didn't know what the hell. But as you start to get better in one area, it elevates your other areas.
Yeah, 100%.
Because once I started to learn the wrestling, learn the sprawl, learn to how to get in position for your takedowns, it made me more confident in my boxing, because now I know I can punch you up and then I can slam you at any moment I want. And then if you try to take me down, I got my sprawl game like that. So it like just makes you feel better as a fighter. And just like if you're struggling with your submissions, you start working on that jiu-jitsu, because I hate jiu-jitsu. I'll say that my whole career. I do not like jiu-jitsu. I respected the people that do it and the people that are good at it, because it's the sport that simulates murder pretty much.
Yeah.
All that stuff will kill you. So I respect the guys that do it. It's just not my favorite. But you'll always see me in McGee. You'll see me in jiu-jitsu class, because I know guys are going to be paying attention to me. And if they know I'm lacking on my jiu-jitsu, what do you think they're going to attack?
Yeah. And I was just literally telling Zach this yesterday after practice. I was like, I feel way more of a bitch getting ragdolled in jiu-jitsu than I do in kickboxing. Like
Exactly.
if you piece me up in kickboxing, it's like, all right, you were better. Like you caught a couple things. Like it's all right. We only go on like 75%. When you ragdoll me in jiu-jitsu, it's like I feel like a bitch. Like
I feel like a huge bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you just held me and put me in positions that you wanted me to do, and there's literally nothing I could have done about it. Couldn't have done
And then
it.
if this was a street scenario and this was a street fight, like you literally would have killed me.
Yeah.
You would have had me sleeping. Like there would have been nothing I could have did, and then I would have woke up like I need more jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, man, I need to go back to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, jiu-jitsu, it's one of those weird things, because it can get beat by good wrestling and striking, but at the same time, it can beat everything if it's good enough.
Yeah.
It's just it's a really weird, but I do think, like, and I don't know what your opinion on this though, but I feel like if you're someone that's trying to get into self-defense, I think jiu-jitsu is the best self-defense martial art.
For sure. Yeah, I think every girl, woman in this planet should be in jiu-jitsu. Like my daughters will all be in jiu-jitsu immediately, because it's like the greatest self-defense. If somebody, it's basically over 90% of it's off your back.
Yeah.
And if somebody attacks a girl, a guy is going to be stronger than a girl. But if they got good jiu-jitsu, they're going to throw them legs up and either put you in that triangle or snap your arm real quick.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like, even though there is size, like, there's an extent where size beats everything. But like if a girl that's nasty at jiu-jitsu, or even a smaller dude that's like Edgar size, that's nasty at jiu-jitsu, and a huge dude, or they're just in a fight with a guy way bigger than them trying to attack them, it does not matter how hard he hits them, they're not going down. But if you choke them to sleep, it does not, size is out the fucking window. You're going to sleep.
They ain't got a choice. And
you're going to sleep.
I agree with that completely. And I also agree that if Edgar sees this, he's going to be really pissed that you used him as an example. He's sending it, even if you're short like Edgar, he's probably like, motherfucker.
Yo, hey, mad respect to Edgar though, and his striking beats my ass. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just using his size as a comparison.
Yeah, he's one of those people that have you sleeping and confused in like 10 seconds.
Well, dude, he's one of those guys that, like, I'll introduce him to some of my friends, like when we're out, or like they'll see him out, and they're like, "You really think that guy could kick my ass?" I'm like, "He would beat the shit out of you."
He would. Yeah, not only would he whoop your ass, but then he could choke you out on top of that. So,
and then he's gonna be really nice about it after. He's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
Yeah, I told you to leave me alone.
I hope he doesn't see this. All love though, Edgar. All love.
Yeah, I love you, Edgar.
That's awesome. Now, let's backtrack a little. How did the BKFC start? Because I remember you were getting some love from other organizations and stuff as your name started getting bigger in Tampa. How was it? Like, when did BKFC start getting involved, and when were you like, all right, this is the route I want to take?
Well, I've known about BKFC like way before I moved to Florida. Like BKFC's been around for about 5 years now. I remember when they first started, like BKFC 2, 3. They always told me about it because my manager, Kevin, with Smith Brothers, he would always tell me, like, he was one of those people that he would always see me lose, and I'd get out of the cage and he'd be like, "You're going to be a star. Don't give up." And he'd always tell me about this bare knuckle. He'd be like, "Man, fuck this amateur MMA. We could go pro bare knuckle. That's where you belong. You'd be a star there." that's your style. And for a while, I was just like, I'm not ready for that. I just knew that if I was losing these amateur fights like this, I'll be damned if I'm going to go in there with a professional boxer with no gloves on and get embarrassed on live national TV. Well, worldwide TV now, because they're over in Thailand and they're going to London.
Didn't they do one in like Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic or something like that?
Yeah, or Mexico. I think they went to Mexico, and they're going to London in July.
That'd be fucking sick if you got a fight in London.
Oh yeah, I think I will. Maybe not this one, but hopefully, because that'd be a dream. Because they BK bare knuckle is way bigger in Europe than the United States.
I think boxing in general is just bigger out there.
Yeah. But so back to the question is Kevin, he'd always tell me about this and I knew I wasn't ready for it. And then finally I moved to Florida and I did get ready and he was still bringing it up. And I was like, you know what? I think I'll give it a try. I think I should try, at least get in there, see what it's like. And if I don't like it, I ain't got to do it again. But if I do like it, then I can just stick with it. Mm-hmm. And then that's we're 2 fights in now, and
pretty damn good decision, man. Pretty damn good decision.
Yeah, because if you're looking at the rankings, they have to put me at the number 1 and the number 2 guy. They fight in the next 2 events on the 21st and May 6th in Orlando. I'm probably going to go to that one.
You're guaranteed number 3 though, because you're at 4 or 5
yeah,
right now.
So no matter what, right now I sit at number 3. I was number 4.
Okay.
But if one of them lose their fight,
you're up.
Then I'm automatically number 2.
Yeah.
If they both lose their fight, then I'm number 1.
Could slide on in there.
Yeah, I'm just slithering past. But at the same time, so at this point, my next fight has to be. It's going to be. I see them putting me as co-main event or main event for the number 1 contender.
Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome, and you deserve it, bro, for sure.
Yeah, and that'd be huge in it. And then I'm trying to get them to have it here in Tampa. Actually, that'd be awesome because that'd be huge support right there.
Yeah, and they fucking like you, bro. They've been posting you a lot. They really do. Like they.
Oh yeah, they were promoting. Yeah, they've been promoting me.
What were you about to say, Zach?
I was just gonna say, Stevo, you originally said you didn't feel comfortable with the idea of bare knuckle fight club at first. At what point did you feel like you were ready for that transition?
Well, the only reason I wasn't comfortable with it because I was still street fighting a lot. Like I don't mind the fact that it's bare knuckle with no gloves. My concern was that I was going to get put in there with a professional boxer who's been boxing their whole life, and if they ain't got no gloves on, they're going to tear me up. Yeah. So that was my only concern. I wasn't scared of the no glove aspect. I was more scared of just that I've been doing MMA for the last 6 years instead of boxing, and these guys might be coming straight from a boxing background, and I just didn't want to get fucked up.
Now you
feel that.
Are you gonna try to rock the BKFC as long as you can, or are you eventually want to?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna. As long as they keep treating me the way they're treating me, and I know I'm going to get that belt. There ain't no question about that. Once I get that belt, my decision's either going to be what I'm thinking right now is I'll either defend it one time or depending on where the 155 class is sitting, because they got some killers over there. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah.
They got some killers at that 55 class.
That's a very deep weight class.
But I would love the challenge to maybe try to grab that belt. And if that don't happen, then after I get the 45 belt, I want to do MMA. Like I'm going to be ready.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do MMA and bare knuckle, and I believe they'll let me.
Yeah, no, you can, because there was fucking what's his name, the dude that lost to Thiago Alves. What's his fucking?
Oh yeah, Hector Lombard.
No, the other one. He does it, and then the other one, the
Yuli.
He's been fighting out of Titan.
I think what I heard, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just speaking from what I've heard backstage at Bare Knuckles. I heard that if you're on like a multi-contract deal with them, the only way you can fight outside of them is if that promotion's paying you more than what they're paying you.
They'll like respect it. Like they'll let you do it.
Yeah, they'll respect and let you do it. So like if you're on like a 3 or 5 fight contract, and you want to go fight for like Eagle FC or something, and they're offering you more money than what your next fight's going to be, then they'll respectfully just let you go do it.
But you can't. So like, all right, just to get, and obviously none of this is set in stone. We don't know if this is all factual. This is just these are like what we're hearing, obviously. But so would it be like, say you just signed a 5-fight deal with BKFC, right? And then Bellator or fucking some organizations like, yo, we want to sign you to fight this guy real quick. You would still technically be a BKFC athlete that's just doing a 1-fight contract. You couldn't like go sign another multi-fight deal somewhere else. It has to be like you're representing BKFC.
Yeah, I don't think, from what I understand, it can't be like, you can't be on a 5-fight deal with BK and then go sign a 3-fight deal with Bellator or UFC or something. Like I don't think if it's a 1-fight, because what it is a lot of these BK guys, they get contacted by like celebrity boxing or like, which I just got contacted about that, by the way. That's huge news for me.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that.
June 11th in Miami, they invited me to be a judge for the celebrity boxing.
No way, bro. That's fucking huge.
What?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have my first time at the judges table. They said we're gonna be. They said we're gonna be.
Wait for you to make a bad call, and everyone's like, "Fuck that guy, bro."
I know.
I
I was joking around. I was like, I'm gonna give somebody like an 8-6 round, just to see if the commentary notices my score.
And they're like, "Yeah, Judge Stevo Morris shit the bed."
Didn't they tell him no drinking? Like, no.
Do you know who the fight? Like, what? Do you know anything about it yet, or is it still in the works?
No, I actually just got the call today. So
that's
all
huge,
I know.
Bro. Congrats.
The only information I did get from today is like where we'll be sitting is like we'll be very close the entire time to Tito Ortiz, Rampage Jackson.
That's sick.
Flavor Flav. He's hilarious.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome though, bro. That's huge.
Yeah. That's June 11th in Miami if you want to come.
No, I'll be there for sure. But would you, so like on the other side of that, would you like to fight a celebrity? Like, would you love to
I would much rather be fighting than at the judges table. Hell yeah. That's like one of my dream goals is to fight a celebrity.
Yeah,
like
so
YouTube.
That's like a big thing right now, dude. Like especially with all the Jake Paul shit going on.
Triller's
with killing it. Yeah.
Triller's with BK now, so
no way. Oh, that's right. Yes, they just signed with them. So that's I think a legitimate opportunity for you.
Oh yeah, I think they're gonna set some stuff up in the future.
No, we lost them. But back on the celebrity thing, if you were in that scenario, who would you pick to fight?
Right now, just the name off the top of my head, Blueface.
Yeah. Oh, I actually remember you saying this. Yeah, I remember you saying this.
Blueface. I'm a huge fan, so like nothing against him personally. I just know he actually works out, like he trains. Wiz Khalifa. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I'm a huge fan, so it'd be no disrespect. Like,
yeah, I don't think I could punch him in the face though. I'd feel so bad.
Yeah, that'd just be awesome to do.
I'd feel okay beating the shit out of Blueface though. That wouldn't bother me at all.
Oh no, I'd whoop his ass. Blueface, yeah. That's an ass whooping.
Did you see him when he fought on Abby's card?
Did they fight on that card?
Yeah, dude. He was horrible. He was really not good. You there?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit.
Yeah, he fought on Abby's card against some TikToker, and dude, it was like really embarrassing.
Yeah, but they made from what I heard, they all made the TikToker and YouTubers all made $25,000 that night. So
if only that was you, bro. Yeah,
so if I was whether gloves or no gloves, I'd take it to 25,000.
Yeah, what? Yeah, yeah. Now this is like a big topic. I feel like I get asked a lot, and like is definitely like roaming in the MMA world. What are your thoughts on all these celebrities fighting? Like, what do you think about it?
What was the ending? What'd you say? What do I think?
What do you think about all these celebrities fighting?
My bad. Say it one more time.
What do you think about the celebrities fighting?
I think it's good just for like money. It's good money, but like fighting, they're not like brag they're a badass fighter, and if they're just a badass fighter and like Blueface, then then I'm not with that.
All right, so this is my thing on it. I like it because it puts light on the sport, which is always big for us. I'm a fighter. I want fighters first. And also like the other thing about it is I hate it because there's so many guys like us, like you, like me, that work our asses off and we don't get to fight on those huge cards because we're not celebrities, and they're taking away those opportunities from people. But at the same time, I'm not mad at the celebrities for that. I'm mad at the fucking fight culture for that.
Yeah,
It's not their fault.
I couldn't have said it. Yeah, I agree 100% with everything you just said.
Yeah, it's not Jake Paul's fault that that people are getting him fights and he's buying millions of views. It's the fight culture's fault. You know, like they're letting them get this platform.
Because like we're in there like busting our ass, getting punched for real. Yeah, and these guys, just because they have like a fan base, they're getting double, triple than what we'll see anytime soon.
Or ever, honestly. I'll probably never make what Jake Paul makes in a fight in my entire life.
Yeah, might not ever see it. They just get to do it on a one night just because of who they are.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's good for the sport also to bring eyes. And
yeah, I feel like you really have to like love the sport at that point. Because I mean, I know on Joe Rogan, they had Bobby Green on and he was talking about I would show up, get $3K for show, and then another $3K for winning. Like most sports, like if the money wasn't really there, you wouldn't do it unless like you really loved it. So I feel like in your case, you have to be there. Like you gotta really love this shit at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, and not even the money aspect, bro. Just to be able to like, I feel like fighters and wrestlers and combat athletes love their sport more than anybody else because the shit you go through, you have to love it. If you don't love it, you're never gonna make it, and the shit's gonna eat you up.
That's one reason I feel like wrestlers will always be the most dominant in the MMA game because you're drilled from the very day one of wrestling that kill, like don't get tired. Like it's just the mentality of a wrestler is the strongest. That's why they dominate the MMA game. Look at all the MMA champions. Over half of them are wrestlers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a different mindset, bro. It's really, really is. And like, I think that's one thing that hurts jiu-jitsu is a lot of those guys are pussies. A lot of them are really soft. And like you get a wrestler like a Colby or like a fucking Khabib, and they're just run, forward. And like it breaks dudes.
Because a lot of the downfall, one thing I don't like, I mean, I'm still going to train it and do it just to be prepared for it. But when it comes to jiu-jitsu, a black belt turns into a white belt real quick once you hit him in the face.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And like once a lot of that ground stuff, unless you're like high level at it, once you try to go for it in the MMA fight, you're just going to get punched. And once you get punched, you lose position. And wrestlers, they don't give a shit though. They you can punch them, and if they're trying to take you down, you can elbow punch. They're getting that damn takedown.
Yeah, that's good. It might hurt, but they're gonna fucking get it.
They're gonna finish that takedown.
Yeah, it's crazy. Zach, you got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking earlier about how even in the Aljamain fight, like the man had 22 takedown attempts, but yet still won the fight, even only landing 2. Like you can completely win fights just off your ground game alone. Even if it's not working the entire fight, you get it 1 or 2 takedowns in a fight and you completely change the outcome.
Exactly. I agree with that because for one of my first championship I ever won, actually, down here in Florida, over at Rise of a Warrior, for those who remember that fight when I fought Chris Lafort, I believe his name was.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was the very first time I showed my wrestling. And I was only doing it because I know this guy was a stand-up guy. We were trading back and forth. It's his hometown. And they're going to end up probably giving it to him just because hometown, and it was an even striking back and forth. We were both landing blows. But I knew in my head, if I can just get 1 takedown each round, that's my round because you didn't take down, and they've even been in a fight in their life. So when somebody gets a takedown, they take it as you pop them, and they just give you that whole round. did something with that takedown, which I think the rule should be in MMA. I feel like the takedown shouldn't count unless you take them down and you do something within that first like 3 to 4 second span. Like you either move position, start striking, or go for a submission. If you don't do any of those three, then I don't believe the takedown should count. Unless it was like a huge slam or something, then.
Yeah, because I mean, we see a lot of the times they get rewarded in MMA for like simple takedowns, but like if you don't let them get side control, you just push them out or like completely stop their momentum. What did you really win out of that exchange? Like, yeah, you might be on top of them, but you're not doing anything. Like it doesn't mean anything to like your chances.
Unless you hold it for 5-10 seconds, but if you still didn't do nothing in that first 3-4 seconds, I still don't think it should count.
Yeah,
because it screws so many guys like that Peter Yan fight and the Sterling, like that was such a I feel like Yan won that fight, but
100%.
Yeah.
They just gave it to him because he rode his back for 2 rounds, and that just shows like the skills that the judges don't know about.
Yeah.
That Yan,
like, at least in the second round, he was throwing punches and shit. In the third round, he just hugged him. He literally just hugged him.
And they tell you like the point system is supposed to be 1 is aggression, K.
Come on.
Oh, we're about to get such good topic right there.
Too.
Get on, and it's kept.
That might be the end.
Say it ain't so.
As soon as it got good.
Fuck.
We'll just end it there. There's no point.
I was literally just